Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Education System Reboot channel. I want to do a quick video on something that has been on kind of an idea that has been coming to the forefront of my brain. And I realized that I really want to kind of articulate this as something that could be a benefit, I think, to teachers. So let me give a little background first. Some of the background is I've referenced John Maxwell a lot in this video series, and he is one of his principles about dealing with people, or one of the things he tries to do religiously, if you'll forgive that pun, is treat everyone like a 10. And so if you see everyone as a 10, you're going to treat them that way. And it's something that it's always resonated with me, but I failed at it big time. And then to give probably not a metaphor, but an example of something I'm going to guess that a lot of teachers deal with is, I know in our staff room over the years that I've been going, there's always seems to be a lot of negativity, a lot of venting, a lot of like, how this kid's doing this. I don't know what to do with this kid. And kind of this idea of, we would talk about specific kids. And then this year, because of COVID and getting kind of back into the swing of things after COVID, I really have been trying intentionally to look at every student and see their potential. And because of that, it's funny. Number one, I've not set foot in the teacher's lounge at all. I just can't do it. I know that we're all stressed, but letting any negativity come in is dangerous to the momentum I've been building. But going back and saying, because I'm not having any negative thoughts come in, I have found myself being more and more able to look at every student, including the students who drive me nuts, and see their potential, which means treat them better. But that doesn't just mean nicely. That means being able to look at each student and almost decide in the moment what they need to hear. Some students need empathy. Some students need a big swift kick in the pants. And if I'm through my personal growth and through just this better input constantly, I feel truly able to look at each student and kind of figure out, at least to a certain extent, what they need. And so I'm able to connect with them better. I think that's the point. But part of that is because I look at them at their potential. I don't look at them as, oh, this is a troubled student. Oh, this student doesn't work. Yeah, I notice that they might not be working, but I don't see that anymore. I see you could be this, you could be that. And I want to tie in something that I'm going to probably be referencing more and more and more as well in a lot more of my videos, is a person named Jordan Peterson. Now, if you know who Jordan Peterson is, you might have a preconceived idea of who he is, especially if you know him from political circles. He's not a politician or political person. He just got thrown into a political debate in Canada. But he is a clinical psychologist from Canada, taught at the University of Toronto, one of the most amazingly insightful, intellectual, intelligent people I've ever heard speak. He's amazing. And I've also lately, especially within the last couple of weeks, really taken a deep dive into some of his videos. Especially, he has a biblical series where he kind of rationally discusses biblical stories and the Bible. And it is fascinating. It is the most fascinating thing. Now, full disclosure, I consider myself a religious Christian. But it's not something that number one, because I live in, the educational circles, it's not something that I, try to push on any students, of course. I do let students know that that's who I am, because I think it's important that they know who I am. But he describes from kind of a psychological perspective, and his, like, what you might call a literary perspective, and an analogy perspective, why some of the biblical stories should be taken seriously. Now, this video is not about that, but what I'm getting at is I've also been putting into my rotation of audios, a lot of Jordan Peterson's ideas, and a lot of them, and I can't articulate them fully right now because it would take forever to do that, and I'd have to process so much stuff. But I've been getting a similar message about the potential, right? We all have this untapped potential that if we plug into the right system, that if we take ownership, if we take accountability to our actions and our efforts, and we start making a plan, and we clean up our room and do all these things, that the potential is out there. So for me, I have seen a amazing change in my mindset and mentality when it comes to looking at students and seeing their potential. And although there are times where students drive me nuts, they just drive you nuts. We've all been there. The way it affects me is completely different, because I can laugh at myself. I can laugh at them. I can give speeches when I can just tell they need more of a kind of intense talking to versus, kind of a lighthearted talking to. And all of this is because, again, of my input of John Maxwell and my input of Jordan Peterson. And part of the Jordan Peterson is he gives me a lot of insights into the kind of the psychology of how people think and what they need to hear. And so anyway, to kind of wrap this all up, because I don't want to go long, is to say this. If you have discovered my channel, okay, especially if you are a teacher, especially if you are similar to me, that you desire something great out of your own life and also great for the betterment of humanity, and that you see that teaching is a calling. It's something that not too many people would truly want to get into. It's a stressful job that doesn't pay enough, but I have a passion for education and teaching. I kind of feel like I have a teacher spirit. So with all that being said, if you relate to anything I just said, the best advice I can give you to start is to take personal growth seriously. Dive into John Maxwell, dive into Jordan Peterson. And I mean, dive in, like really listen, really read, really understand some of these concepts. And I can guarantee you, though, if you do this over the course of a year or so, that the passions, the perspectives, the ability to look bigger picture in education is going to grow, and you will thank your future self will thank you for it. But all of this comes back to just this pressing on my heart lately, is to just say, we have to be able to look at kids' potential, not what they're doing currently. Now, a lot of people know this intuitively. We talk about kids' home lives and all these things that these things that kids are dealing with now that we never probably had to deal with when we were younger. But what they need is the stability. What they need is someone to believe in them. And the thing is, if we don't grow ourselves, we are not going to be capable of giving that much energy to them. This is the thing I would hate to confess, but I'll confess it. At the end of the day, I'm so drained sometimes that I don't have the energy for my own kids. And it breaks my heart, and I'm mad at myself. But then I take a step back and I say, you know what? I have to keep growing so that I have the capacity to help both my students who need so much and still my kids. And that's another reason why I've got to continue to grow. I've got to continue to plug into John Maxwell. I've got to continue to plug into Jordan Peterson. I've got to continue to reflect. I got to continue to make these videos so that the things that I'm working on daily are actually applied deeper into my life. And so again, there's a lot of things that get tied back in through my channel here. The quality of the application is the most important thing for our students. It doesn't matter how good I teach at any lesson. What matters is the students have a way of applying it into their life. So what that also means is students have to develop better systems. Well, students won't be willing to develop their own system if you don't see the potential, if you don't encourage. So much of what we could do for students is really based on seeing their potential, the potential that's out there. And so I hope this video makes sense. I feel very passionate about it. It's why I'm making this one. So with that said, I think I kind of articulated what I was feeling, hopefully very well. If not, I'll continue to improve. But with that said, of course, remember, consistent effort over time equals success. And until the next video, have a great day.